All right, hello wine drinking people. Today is Tuesday, July 12th. Getting ready to take down some white wines today at the Tower Club. We got a surprisingly large turnout for that tonight. 20 plus people. And then tomorrow night our Spanish tasting at Cafe Max with the Jorge Ordonez portfolio with 35 people signed up for that. Wow, we've got a lot of thirsty people out there. And you know, it's always nice to be able to offer a great wine at half of the original price. And you guys know that have been watching this show, I have been touting the wines from South America, Chile and Argentina for the last decade or so, saying these are some of the greatest values, if you like Bordeaux varietals, in the world today. And they've been making wine in Argentina. Well, the Spanish brought the first grapes there, just like they did here to this country for several hundred years. But really, it wasn't until the last 20 or 30 years that they started to make high-quality wine in Argentina. They were one of the largest consumers of wine for years. And today, exporting some great wines to the United States of America and other places. And this was one of the wines that we thought, wow, this is one of the rising stars of Mendoza. With Mauricio Aloica was involved. He is one of the top superstar young whiz kid winemakers in Mendoza. He worked for Enrique Foster, formerly Catena, and Luigi Bosca. Luigi Bosca, the Reserva, one of our best-selling Malbecs. And this was a joint project between him and a local guy. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out for whatever reason. I think this may be the last vintage of Oyikill. So Oyikill is the name of a condor, a bird that keeps watch over the vineyards. And this is typical. People like animals to name a wine after a bird. But the wine from a very high altitude vineyard, the Vista Flores vineyard, and it's located in the Uco Valley in the Andes Mountains, 3,445 feet above sea level. Wow! And one of the things that makes Malbec from Argentina unique. Malbec is a Bordeaux varietal, and after phylloxera, a little over 100 years ago, when they replanted Bordeaux, they just did not, plant much Malbec. There's still a little bit planted here and there, but, for some reason it doesn't make a great single varietal wine anywhere in the world except for Mendoza, and they think it has something to do with that altitude. With the altitude, you're a little closer to the sun, and that sun's rays forces the Malbec varietal to thicken up the skin. One of the things that it doesn't have where it's growing in Cahors in France, southwest France, and in Bordeaux is the thick skin that it has in Mendoza and Argentina. And what does that skin add to it? Well, you have the tannins and all the red pigment components come out of the skin. And I think that has something to do with why Malbec can stand on its own in Mendoza. Because, I've always said Malbec with a little something blended in is always better than Malbec by itself, because Malbec's a blending grape. But, this wine does have a little bit of something blended in. Actually, I thought it was 100% Malbec, but it's only 95, 3% Cabernet, 2% Syrah. But this 2007 Oyikill Malbec has got, wonderful aromas of kind of black cherry, blackberry, blueberry fruit on the nose with hints of kind of burning campfire wood, espresso, and dark spices. A lovely amount of that dark berry fruit on the tongue with smooth tannins. Really drinking nice. The best that I've had this wine several times, but it's drinking at or near its peak right now for me. Malbec, a varietal you probably don't want to keep for 20 or 30 years, although, hey, those old pre-phylloxera wines from Bordeaux, supposedly, I'll talk to Hardy Rodenstock, he fooled a lot of people into buying a lot of these old wines, still drinking beautifully today. So what do we know about aged Malbec? All right, well, I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first. There as well, good concentration and depth of fruit flavors on the tongue with that pronounced minerality, persistent acidity, and lots of fruit through the finish, along with that nutmeg and vanilla spice. Excellent juice as well, $30. A little bit cheaper than the Patson Hall, so we're going to go with the Ramey Sonoma Coast with the face-off on these two. All right, the Calera Pinot Noir Central Coast. This is Josh Jensen's biggest production. He is still the only one out there in his area in Mount Harlan making wines. It's just too difficult to grow grapes there for most people. The yields are so low. He is making some of the best Pinot Noir in California and has been for 20, 30 years now, a real pioneer. And, this wine is from purchased fruits, obviously not from his stuff at $28, $25 a bottle. But still, his top cuvées sell for between $50 and $75 a bottle with the production and yields and the proven, nature of this wine. To me, it should be the most expensive Pinot Noir coming coming out of California. All right, well, there was severe frost in 2008, so unfortunately you're going to see a single vineyard dramatically reduced. This wine had a lovely bouquet of fresh flowers, exotic spices, black cherry, and almost like a rhubarb kind of note to the fruit, though very forward and inviting, fresh and lively on the tongue with a nice balanced style of Pinot Noir leading into a zesty finish. That's exactly what we expect from Josh, California, but, very European finish, very lovely acidity tying things together, silky smooth tannins. Excellent juice for an entry-level Pinot. 28 1/4. If anyone deserves it, Josh does. All right, Domaine Serene's Yam Hill Cuvée 2008. Very complex bouquet. This is one of the greatest producers of Pinot in all of the world, but they just happen to be in the Willamette. A little mint, cola, exotic spices, fresh cherry pie-like fruit with raspberry and strawberry nuance. Really complex bouquet. This wine is not, this is a declassification of Evenstad. So in a great vintage, they make a small amount of this, like 2008. So this will go quickly. Lovely spice on the palate here as well, with a lot of that red berry fruit and lovely acidity. Great balance. Excellent juice. That's what I had to drink with the folks from Augustine, folks. Next up, we've got Quintessential Wines with Morgan Cushman.